Hello everyone, welcome back to We the Podcasters. I'm Prateek.
And I'm Desh, and today's episode is packed. We are going to be talking about certification, taxes, and many more things.
Absolutely. And today we have a guest. We've got Fayaz sir with us, who is a seasoned professional. He is a CMA, CPA, corporate tax, qualified, and many more. If you go and see his LinkedIn profile, his certifications are bigger than his name. So today we're going to talk about a lot. We've got a packed schedule today, right?
Absolutely. And Fayaz sir, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate that. Thanks. Could you quickly introduce yourself, sir?
Thanks for calling me for your podcast. So, as you already have told my name, okay, so my name is Fayaz Khan. I am a CPA, CMA, MBA, CPA, CSAA, VAT, and corporate tax diploma. So, I've been working for the last 20 years as a finance manager. And during that period, I was also working as a freelance instructor for CMA and CPA. Of late, I started my own tax agency. I am a FTA approved tax agent. So I am helping now businessmen with their tax solutions.
What we'd like to talk about, there is a big question in the market, right? If a young professional, a young accountant who is working in a company, he wants to go ahead and add a certification to his name, he's very confused. Would he like to go for a CMA? Would he like to go for a CPA? So what we would like to maybe understand from you is, how are these two certifications different from each other, and which one should one go for?
See, with the advent of tax in this country, okay, so there is more demand for professionals. Now they need people who are qualified enough.
Absolutely.
So now it depends upon the person's own choice, like what he want to become. So if you want to become like a CFO of a company, so definitely you have to go for CMA. And if you want to become like a external auditor, or you want to become a tax specialist, then definitely you have to go for CPA. It depends upon each person's choice how they want to move ahead with the thing.
Sir, is CPA better or CMA better? How's the structure like? Yeah.
See, no one qualification is better or other. Okay, all are equal in terms of the things. But like, if you see how the market take into account, okay, so in that case, CPA is having an edge over CMA. To me, the right person who is eligible to become a CFO company is a CMA.
Amazing. And sir, let's deep dive a little bit into the certifications. Can you enlighten our audience a little bit? If somebody wants to do a CMA, what are the parts like? What do they need to do? What are the subjects that they need to study? And how do they enter?
Okay, CMA certification is issued by IMA.
Yeah.
It is globally recognized certification. So CMA have two parts, part 1 and part 2. So for the basic necessity or basic eligibility for a CMA is that you need to be a graduation.
Okay.
So graduate in any discipline. So even if a person gets 35% marks or 40% marks, he can go and pursue his dream to become a CMA. So there is no restriction with regard to percentage.
Very good.
Okay. So second part, we have here two part 1, part 2. So they have equally part 1 is divided into 5 subcategory, and also part 2 into 5 subcategories. So total can say around 8 to 9 subjects are there within these two parts.
Yeah.
So first they have to go and be a member of IMA, and then depend upon if someone want to do a self-study, they can do self-study, or they can want classes, they can go and join the classes. So it will take them minimum 1 year if they are dedicated and disciplined.
That's an important point.
That's an important part, guys, for you.
Yeah.
Dedicated and disciplined.
Yeah.
So I I don't know if I mentioned this, but I am also a CMA US. We saw that in our previous episode. And Fayaz sir is my mentor and my professor. And I don't think without him, I would have been able to pass this certification. So that much credit I give him. He has a method which he applies to his coaching. Okay. I know him for more than 7 years now. And he has literally handheld me throughout the certification. I failed maybe 1 or 2 times. And then after that, when I passed the first part, it was like a dream come true, because it's the same thing, guys. We all enter into the certification. I'm sure many of you who are watching, you have entered into the certification or planning to enter, thinking there's just a two-part, as sir just mentioned, right? It's a two-part certification, but do not think of it like a two-part certification because every subject is a part in itself.
Yeah.
Correct, sir?
True.
And that becomes a little bit overwhelming for you while working. Okay, because when we were studying earlier, we had no other job to do. Now we have a job and a family, which is also another job. So that way, passing the certification becomes a challenge. And sir, let's talk about maybe how much time we need to spend.
Yeah.
Which you always guide your students.
Anything if you want to achieve in life, you can achieve.
Yeah, true.
You need to have fire in your heart,
Yes,
the desire,
yes,
and then discipline and dedication.
yes.
I just quickly have want to know about, I mean, from Pratik, I want to know because you said you also thought that it's going to be easy, but it was not that easy, right? What was your biggest challenge, knowing that now this is what all you have to study and go through? What was your biggest challenge you feel?
The first challenge was obviously taking out time. Taking out time
What Fayaz sir was
yes,
also
what he
saying, yeah,
mentioned,
taking-
because
yeah.
see, it was at the start you have to give minimum 2 to 3 hours every day, and after your work, because work can take easily 9 to 10 hours, right? And then at that point in time, when I was trying to get my head around this whole concept of passing each part, it was becoming very overwhelming because you have to make sure that within those 3 hours you have 100 MCQs. If you don't get 50% in the 100 MCQs, you do not go for the essay part. So the total exam is 4 hours, which I think sir can elaborate a little bit more later on. But to get to that essay part where you have simulations, you have to pass 50% of MCQs. Otherwise, your exam is over there and then. Because we are actually used to studying a different way. This is a completely different type of a certification, US based, and it is, as sir mentioned, the book is not very heavy. So people think, this is it. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah. And then the reality hits you when you sit for one mock exam. You sit, and then reality hits. And each certification has got some value. The reason of it getting that kind of value is because it's difficult to pass. The passing percentage of CMA is not even 50%. So if 100 students sit for the exam, 45 to 50 pass. This is the passing percentage for CMA. And that becomes overwhelming for you. You should not see that before you're sitting for the exam because it will play on your mind.
Yeah.
And when you were asking me about the challenges that I faced, something came up to my mind. If these exams were, instead of 2 parts, if there were 14 exams, it would have been easier to pass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There are 14 subjects, 14 or 15 subjects now. They keep changing and keep adding. So they are 7 subjects crammed up into a 3-hour exam. So imagine how much you have to recall and how much you have to be on top of your toes.
And the second day, you have to answer. Exam is 4 hours per part. Okay, 4 hours exam. You have 100 MCQ you have to answer with in 3 hours.
Yeah, man.
And then suppose if you get 50% there, then you're going to move to second part called simulation. That called the essays. That means you have 1.8 minutes to answer one MCQ.
Yeah.
Right? So then you need at least, sometimes MCQs are so long, you need 5 minutes just to read the MCQs. So you need to be you should be so well prepared for your exam that the moment you see the MCQs, you know what they're asking and you should be able to crack it immediately.
One last question on CMA. You said even non-finance background guys can also do the CMA. Is my understanding correct?
One example in front of you.
Yeah, one example is sitting. Actually, I was about to say that.
Yeah, but for audience, I think.
One example sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
I am a non-finance background. When we talk about my schooling and part of my graduation as well. So I wanted to become a doctor when I was when I was studying my 11th and 12th. So I took PCB for people who are outside of India, physics, chemistry, biology. So I did that, and then I did my graduation as well in science. Post that, I did my MBA. Okay, where I started studying more about accountancy and finance and all that. So that was my first step into this world when I was doing my MBA at that point. And that's where my interest also, arose a little bit. So I started, was really interested into this world of finance and accountancy and the whole strategic finance part of it. And when I was looking out for a certification, that's when somebody suggested CMA to me. Okay.
Okay.
And whenever somebody goes and suggests CMA, you go through and you see what are the parts and what you will study, like a curriculum or syllabus or whatever you call it. Yeah, you go through that. And when I saw all the parts, what am I going to study about risk, about strategic finance, about all this, I got really interested, man. I was like, this is it. This is meant for me. This is what I'm interested in. Exactly. So that's when it got interest. But the dream broke when the dream actually broke when I attended the session, when I started attending the sessions.
Okay.
And
That's
there,
when you realize that
man,
it's not as easy as you
no
think it
way,
is.
no way. Yeah.
Company is paying you higher salary for decision making. And CMA is a certification which teaches you how to give decision making for a company.
Yeah, absolutely.
For example, like, if you want to outsource a particular job or you want to do in-house, so what are the factors you could take into account? That one. Or you have a branch of a company, okay, it's not doing very well. So should we keep that branch or should we continue with the branch? So all this decision making, you get the concepts there in CMA.
NPVs, net present value, all that. There's beautiful concepts, man. Beautiful concepts. And when you really put your head around it, you will find it so interesting. If you put really your interest, it will feel like piece of cake passing the certificate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But some parts are difficult.
One thing good about US certifications.
Yeah.
Okay. CM and CPA, they are more relevant.
True. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us so many insights. Maybe if our audience is interested, we can cover a full portion of CMA into one full episode because CMA is very vast.
Yeah.
And how they can actually contact you if they want to study CMA directly from you. And now we want to talk about CPA. So I know that there is a little bit of an entry barrier to start CPA versus CMA. CMA, as you really mentioned, anybody can start CMA even if you got 35-40% in your graduation or anything. If you're non-finance background, you can start CMA. But CPA, it's not the same, right? So can you please elaborate?
See, in CPA have different eligibility requirement based upon the states.
Okay.
Some states require 120 hours, credit hours, and some require 150. So then in US, you have 4 years of degree. Right, so it's become very easy for the US student to get eligibility for CPA. When it comes to Indian subcontinent, okay, it is 12 plus 3 means our degree is 3 years. So we need to add additional 1 year just to get eligible for the CPA. So when students come to us, we see their mark sheets. We don't look at what percentage they got percentages. We just look at what is their what subject they have taken. Okay, and we try to calculate their credit hours.
Okay.
So if they don't come to 120 hours, then what we say, you go for CMA.
Okay.
That's an option we give to them. Okay. If they in total they get 120 or above 120, then we can say, you can go and do CPA. But later on, once they pass their CPA examination, they have to get extra that 30 credit hours just to get the licensing.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the entry barrier. So I mean, for our audience to understand this simply, they need to check this eligibility criteria. How can they check this?
That service we do. When students come to us, we will not admit the student in CPA course unless until we see that he is eligible for CPA examinations.
And how can they cover up if they don't have the credits? Is there a way to cover it
So
up?
nowadays, NASBA and AICPA, they have come with special classes where you can take this extra one. Or they have to go and do some MBA courses just to get eligible for CPA.
In our audience about CPA, the parts and
The CPA have 4 parts.
Yeah.
Okay. Now with the from 2024 onwards, they have changed the subjects now. It is called CPA evaluation. So they have 3 core subject and 1 specialized one.
Okay.
So 3 core means what? You have to do financial accounting and reporting. You have to do auditing. Okay. You have to do taxation. Then specialized depend upon your choice which you want to go. You can go for auditing, bar. You can go for taxation or you can go for IT. So that 3 choice, you can take any one, and you can take in any order this courses subjects.
is there a time limit where they need to complete this?
Yes. So the moment you pass the first part, okay, first subject, okay, so you can say FAR or anyone. If you pass FAR, you get 18 months time to complete the balance 3.
Wow, that's
That gives a lot of stress for some students.
Yeah, that's right. That was one of my stress when I was doing my CMA. Because CMA at least gives 3 years. For the 1.5 year, I was not very. For the first 1.5 year passed just like that. So I had only 1.5 year because I registered and I did my first examination.
No, there's
So
difference between CMA and CPA in these terms. Okay, CME is like you have to pay the IM membership fees. Okay, and that time some people misguide students to pay immediately the
And your time starts from there.
Yeah, that pay the IM membership for the exam entrance fees.
Yeah.
Okay, so the moment you pay that fees, your clock start from there, ticking from there for 3 years.
Correct.
So which if you ask my students, I tell them, sorry, don't do it. Even sometimes I may come with 50% offer discount. Everything. I say, don't do that.
Don't do
because
that.
why?
Yeah.
You're going to lose your years. It's like
And if you don't pass, guys, just to let you know, you have to do all over again.
Again.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shift some gears and let's talk about corporate taxes in UAE. I mean, this is a hot topic, and everyone is talking about corporate taxes in UAE because recently been introduced, right? So, do you want to share something about corporate taxes?
Yeah. So this certification, like CMA and CPA, have really helped me out. Corporate tax is not everybody's game.
Okay.
You need to be professional. We are the FTA approved tax agents, okay, especially in VAT and corporate tax. This certification like CPA and CMA will help them. So when you have these professional qualifications, okay, you understand these terms very well. We help businesses in terms of diagnosing their financial statements and advising them, about the corporate tax liability for that.
That's amazing.
And people are saying that if you are in free zone or if you are a free zone company, you don't need to pay any corporate taxes. Is this true, not true?
See, in free zone companies, like, they call as qualified and unqualified income. If you have a qualified income, then you don't have to pay any tax on that one. It is called zero rated. But if you have an unqualified income and it is above the de minimis, then you have to pay the tax.
Can you give our audience a corporate tax 101? If I am setting up a new company, what do I need to do? What do I need to be aware of?
See, what they're saying, if you have around 3 million of turnover, okay, up to 3 million current year and last year, in that case, you don't have to pay any tax, but you have to comply. You have a compliance issue. You have to go and file the tax, but you don't have to pay anything. Right? But in that case, if you have 3 million, then another option they give to you, like you can have cash basis also, or you can go accrual basis. Then if you have above 3 million, up to 50 million, okay, then the company have to follow accrual basis and IFRS for SME. And for them, like, then if it's above 50 million, then they have to do the audit compulsory and they have to follow IFRS.
Okay.
So, what is the part that people are still ignoring today in corporate tax?
People are giving the job to people who are unqualified.
So, Desh, I think we've covered a lot with sir, CMA, CPA. Maybe we move into our last two segments. One is, I think you would like to ask sir something about AI in finance.
Yeah, I mean, and you and I discussed about this, right?
Yes.
We wanted to get your
love
opinion,
AI.
sir. Now, AI, of course, is a buzzword. People are talking about AI, and not just AI. There are other things as well, like Power BI, visualization, dashboards, whatnot, right? What's your point of view? I mean, now that AI is coming in, is it really gonna take away jobs, or is it going to help? What's your point of view?
See, when computers came, did they take away job or people? No.
No. Yeah.
So the people who are qualified, they people were trained to how to use the computers, right? So same way, if you see now CMA and CPA certifications, they're training their candidates, okay, how to handle if AI comes. So I don't think so job will go, but the nature and the things might change.
Could you give us an example, maybe, I don't know, in your job, or maybe you saw one of your students using AI, with the work? Do you have any example?
Simple, ChatGPT, the people are using.
Yeah. Everyone.
DeepSeek they are using, right? So,
That prompts a question in my mind. When I was doing my CMA, ChatGPT was not there. It's 5 years ago.
yeah, I was there for you as a
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
you were. That is so
Yeah,
true.
that is true.
You were my ChatGPT.
Yeah,
That's so
that's
true. That's so true. But I want to ask you now that you've been coaching for such a long time, how has that become a little bit easier for students to pass the certification because they have that tool available at 24/7 with them?
If any tools comes, okay, again the same thing. If you are not dedicated and disciplined,
Yeah.
you're not going to get anything. I have been teaching for last 15 years. Okay, So I have been teaching for almost for around 7 to 8,000 students I've taught now. And ChatGPT will not going to motivate you.
Yeah, that motivation part is there.
Oh,
man.
that is
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
true.
that is
Yeah, sometimes the student get in stress.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when they call us, so we motivate them. So
Maybe that
AI will not give.
maybe that can be true in future. By the way, let me also mention, sir has come from Abu Dhabi. He has drove all the way from Abu Dhabi to Dubai today. He lives in Abu Dhabi, and I used to drive from Dubai to Abu Dhabi just to go there and sit physically with him and study face to face.
Oh, wow.
And that ChatGPT cannot give you. For sure.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Thanks so much, sir, for all the insights that you have given into the certifications and corporate tax. And we are down to our last segment. We would like to do a little bit of rapid fire with you.
Yeah.
Okay. And keep it to one word answers if you can.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start. One word to describe CMA.
Strategic.
Very good.
The toughest section of CPA.
It depends upon person, but I will go for reg.
And one word to describe CPA.
Precise.
Okay.
One mistake people make with corporate tax.
That I think they think that they are exempt for them.
And what is your favorite finance tool?
Excel.
Okay. Amazing.
And what is the finance myth you want to break?
That everything is done through Excel.
Amazing. Thanks so much, sir. That was amazing. Thank you for giving your insights
My
into
pleasure.
the CMA, CPA certification and the corporate tax. That was, I think, our audience got to learn a lot from you today. And obviously, guys, if you want to learn further, we will drop in sir's contact details in the description. You can contact him directly. He has a consultancy for corporate tax as well. If you have set up a company, you can contact him directly to help you out for your corporate tax needs. And if you are a new professional who wants to do your CMA, CPA, you heard him. He's 15 years into coaching, so you're into good hands. And I can tell you, I can vouch for that. And that was actually a masterclass for us.
I would
today,
agree.
guys.
I would agree that it was a masterclass. I mean, and we all feeling like
Yeah.
we have covered a year worth of finance just in these 30 minutes.
Yeah,
So thank you so much for coming to our cast. Pratik informed that you drove all the way from Abu Dhabi, so we really appreciate
We
that.
appreciate, yeah.
And and for our audience, thank you very much once again for watching us. And keep learning, and we'll see you soon.
And if you made this far, please do not forget to like this video, comment below, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching us. We'll be back soon.